What we create in our lives and who we become is dependent on what our focus is on. What we manifest into our lives is dependent on what our awareness is on. Now, our natural focus and awareness will be placed on whatever was programmed into our subconscious minds as a kid, which can cause us to keep our awareness on negativity and lack if that's what we were primarily exposed to growing up, which will cause us to keep creating results like that in our lives, which will cause us to keep manifesting results like that in our lives unless we do the work to change that. This is why we want to take control of our lives by training our minds so that we can create what we want to and not a replication of what we were exposed to growing up. What's up? My name is Sabrina and welcome back to the channel. Here in the Better You space, we teach creatives, dreamers, and entrepreneurs how to train their minds to make their daydreams their real daily lives. If you're looking for a deeper transformation, feel free to check out our one-on-one mentorship or our online signature program, Unleash Your Life. And I will say that I just created a short workbook for you that will be your guide to make your specific dreams your daily life, which I highly suggest you checking out. The links for all of those will be left in the description below, and let's get into it. All of these practices and tools that I'm going to be going over are some kind of focus work. We want to train our minds to keep our focus on what we want, on who we want to be, on what we want to create, on how we want to feel in order for us to create that and become that. And make sure you stay until the end because a lot of these tools I have different suggestions for that you may not have heard from a lot of other creators who make content like this. Now, the first one I want to talk about is the one practice that I want every single one of you to be practicing. The rest of these practices I want you to ebb and flow with and to keep in your toolbox. But this one specifically, I want you to practice every single day. And this is what I have abbreviated as PRR, or Pause, Regulate, Rewire. I won't go too much in depth onto this one because I just recorded a video that goes in depth on this practice because of how effective it is. And I want to make sure you guys get the most out of this practice. So if you want a more detailed explanation of that, feel free to check it out after listening to this one. The short explanation of this is when you feel triggered or when you feel your old state or an undesired state come up for you, this is when you pause. You break the neural pathway when you pause. Then you want to regulate your system. So when we feel triggered, these hormones are flooded throughout our bloodstream. We feel the emotion. We want to regulate our system back out. And then we want to focus on what we do want to create. We want to rewire. So pause, regulate, rewire. You want to then spend some time on how you do want to feel and how you do want to think. And you can do this by using any of the other tools that I'm about to talk about right now. Now, of course, I have to talk about the glorious self-talk rampages. That's the second one I'm bringing to this video. This practice is highly effective in training your mind because of the way that it builds the emotional momentum. Now, a self-talk rampage, if you haven't heard me talk about it before, or if you're new to me, if you're new to the channel, it's basically just going off on how you do want to feel, how you do want to think, speaking as if your manifestation is here already. This is a practice that you speak out loud. You leave no space for pausing, for hesitation. You just keep going back to back, sentence after sentence of telling yourself of how you feel so good, telling yourself of how you're so grateful that your manifestation is here. And you keep doing it until your emotional state builds up so much to where you literally feel like you're buzzing, to where you literally feel like you are in this knowing state of knowing that your desire is here, knowing state of you know that you are this person. And racking up the emotional state is such a strong way to train your mind. Feeling is the secret when it comes to this kind of work. So the more emotion you can get behind these practices, the more powerful it will be, the more positive momentum you will add, the stronger you will wire in these new ways of being. Now, I do have a separate video on this one as well, which you can watch after finishing this one if you want to hear more on that. But I needed to say this one for the purpose of laying out all the different tools and practices for you to do. The third one is music. Using music to train your mind. This is really powerful because of the way that when we hear music and when we sing along to music, the effect that it has on our brain is very hypnotizing. It has that similar hypnotic effect, meaning the lyrics more so bypass your conscious mind and directly impact the subconscious. And also with the music, I have made my own Spotify playlist that has a bunch of positive affirming lyrics and words. I'll link that below in case you want to check that out and just pick whatever songs you like out of that. Or if you just want to listen to the playlist as a whole, that's cool too. just so you have kind of like a base to work with. Because I know a lot of music, it can be kind of hard to find that positive styled affirming music that we want to listen to. And this is just a tip that I really want you to be mindful about just in your day-to-day life, is being really mindful to the media that you tune into, being really mindful of the music that you tune into, because it does have this hypnotic effect on the brain. So when you're listening to songs on the radio, I want you to ask yourself, is this song something that I want to become? Do I want to become the message of this song? If the answer is no, I highly suggest you stop listening to it, because whether you realize it or not, it happens on a subconscious effect. It happens on a subconscious level. Whether you realize it or not, the lyrics of the music you listen to are training your mind to think specific ways. So if you're listening to music and the lyrics are revolving around feeling angry or feeling upset or not feeling happy, whether it's a good and moving song or not, just for the fact of you listening to it, you are training your mind to feel those emotions. So what we do want to do is start creating playlists that have positive affirming words, positive affirming lyrics, songs that make you feel good, songs that make you feel empowered. If you're wanting to manifest more money, make a money playlist because of the hypnotic effects that it has. If you didn't know, I did start a personal podcast aside from the Better You by Sabrina business. I started this podcast just for fun, to talk about different types of topics that are interesting to me. But I do have an episode on there, my second episode, that goes much more into the science of how mainstream media and music and movies and things like that affects our minds and trains our nervous system. So if you want to check that out, I'll leave the link for that in the description below as well, because it is really interesting to note and to just pay attention to for your own well-being. At least I think it's interesting. Fourth tool or practice to train your mind are hypnosis or deep meditations. These both are very powerful in bypassing the conscious mind to get to the subconscious because of how your brainwave state is when you are in these deep meditative states. Your subconscious mind is much more permeable. Now, hypnoses are slightly different than deep meditations. They're very similar. The only difference is hypnoses have more language patterns that kind of confuse the conscious mind so that it can bypass the conscious mind even further, kind of like put your conscious mind to sleep to where you won't even remember a lot of times or understand a lot of times what's going on. And this is how hypnoses work, to bypass the conscious mind to directly impact the subconscious. Hypnoses can be very, very powerful in training the mind. I'm certified in hypnotherapy. I have a lot of hypnoses for my students and members inside of Unleash Your Life. And these can be a daily practice that you do every morning, every night before bed to train your mind. The fifth tool that I want to talk about are sleep tracks. Having some kind of affirmations going while you are sleeping. When you're sleeping, your conscious mind is asleep. Your subconscious mind is wide open and permeable, meaning anything you listen to while you're sleeping is being directly impacted into your subconscious mind, which again is why we shouldn't have the TV on while we're sleeping, unless it's like a positive show or something. But when you think about it, this is such a big portion of your day that you can spend training your mind. Imagine effortless. It's effortless. You just press play on a sleep track, put it next to your bed, put it on a really low volume. And as you're sleeping for 6, 7, 8, 9 hours every day, however long you sleep, you are actively training your mind. When you listen to these sleep tracks, you literally wake up and you will notice the difference in how you feel. So that can be a really powerful practice for you to incorporate. The sixth practice is affirmations, and do not overlook this one. I feel like affirmations are so laid down to how powerful they really can be. The purpose of affirmations is to tap into that feeling state. Again, feeling is a secret when it comes to training your mind. And it's to get you to, honestly, in my opinion, affirmations are to really help shift your self-concept. Shifting the way that you view yourself, shifting the way you view yourself in relation to your life or your business or your friends, etc. So saying affirmations like, I am feeling like a successful CEO, or I am feeling really grateful about XYZ. You're saying these affirmations again and again to tap into that feeling state. You are wiring and firing those new neurons, those new neural pathways through affirming. Now, affirmations can be bypassed a lot of times because sometimes you really feel like you're lying to yourself. When you say an affirmation and you say that you're dead broke, but you're trying to affirm that you have lots of money, and you're telling yourself these affirmations, but then your conscious mind, you're thinking like, I feel like I'm lying to myself. This doesn't even feel true. I feel like this isn't making any progress to how I'm feeling and how I view myself. And it's because our conscious mind has kind of like a gatekeeper, right? There's your conscious mind, a gatekeeper, and then your subconscious mind. And if it's something that we do not believe, oftentimes a gatekeeper will say, nope, this isn't true, and it'll push it away. This is why for affirmations, I really like to suggest to my clients and my students and to everyone, to use subconscious bridges. When speaking your affirmations, you can word them slightly differently and say things like, I'm starting to feel more rich, or I'm beginning to understand how it feels like to have more money. I'm beginning to understand how it feels like to feel relaxed and relieved about money. Or a way to really confuse the conscious mind, but to still tap into that state, is to say, I wonder how it would feel like if I never had to worry about money again. If I just knew that I had more than enough money in the world to spend, I wonder how that would feel. Even though it's a question, it's an affirmation, because you are now focusing on feeling that way. And it's a really great way to kind of like bypass the gatekeeper, because the gatekeeper, you're not telling yourself that you're a rich person. You're just saying, I wonder how it would feel like. And the gatekeeper is like, I wonder how it would feel like. Let's push that to the subconscious mind. And therefore, you're wiring in these new feelings and emotions. And you can keep saying these affirmations in these ways with the subconscious bridges until you get to a state of believability where it feels good to then say, I am someone who has a lot of money. I do see myself as someone who just makes a lot of money and who is naturally successful. But if it's hard to believe at first, use those subconscious bridges. They're very, very helpful in training the mind. The seventh one that I'm talking about is visualizations and daydreaming. Whoever told you as a kid to stop daydreaming, they were wrong. We need to keep the daydreaming. It is wonderful in training the mind. I want you to just throughout your day, just imagine in your mind how good life feels like now that you have your desires. I want you to imagine in your mind yourself showing up as your highest version of yourself. I want you to just visualize in your mind things constantly working out for you, things always working out in your favor. Spend so much time just daydreaming. This is focus work. This is shifting your awareness to what you want to create. Therefore, you are manifesting as you daydream, as you visualize. This doesn't have to be an official sit down, I'm going to spend 15 minutes doing a visualization meditation. It can, but even just when you're brushing your teeth in the morning, just daydreaming, thinking about, oh man, doesn't it feel so good that I'm making tens of thousands of dollars every month? Oh man, doesn't it feel so good that I got these music gigs, that I am a highly sought after singer, that so many people love my music, or that thousands of people are going to my DJ shows, right? Just spend that time daydreaming and visualizing. The more you can tap into that feeling state, the better. So please practice all of these if you want. If you don't feel like affirming that day, spend some time daydreaming. If you are a private client of mine or a member of Unleash Your Life, or if you have access to really great hypnoses, listen to those. If you're having a really tough time shifting your state, do a self-talk Rampage. But please practice these every single day to train your mind. You have the tools in your toolbox. You have no excuse now. Go ahead and leave a brain emoji in the comment section below so I know who made it to this point. Let me know what you liked about this video. If there's any more topics that you want me to talk about, I would be happy to make more videos on them. Please give this video a thumbs up to help out the channel. Share it with a friend. Subscribe and hit the bell button to be notified every time I post a new one, and I'll see you in the next one.